Hi, this is Sean Fortin, General Manager, Kunes Nissan, Davenport, Iowa. Welcome to Kunes Car Convos. Today we will be driving around with Diane Coster and learning more about the Lindsay Thul Memorial and a brand new 2024 Nissan Pathfinder, one of Diane's favorite Nissan models. Hello everyone, today I'm joined by the founder of the Lindsay Thul Memorial Golf Outing, as well as the mother of the late Lindsay Thul, Diane Coster. Diane, thank you so much for joining us today. And I can tell you this just from being in the community, Lindsay touched so many people. She touched so many people's lives in the Quad Cities and beyond. She was known for being an amazing businesswoman, I can't say that
Philanthropist?
word. Look at me, I can't. That's a tough one. I can't. It's like a tongue twister me. And one of the funniest people on the planet. But we are very sorry for your loss and appreciate you willingness to share Lindsay's battle that she had with inflammatory breast cancer, to spread awareness, to try and help other people. You know, if people didn't come out and do this, I mean, this is how you have to spread awareness. This is how you hopefully help other people. So what can you tell people out there about this?
Inflammatory breast cancer is extremely rare, and only 3% of all breast cancers are classified as inflammatory.
Oh my gosh, so it's really rare.
Really rare.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And even with my limited medical background, when Lindsay started having symptoms, that didn't even enter my brain that it could have been that, even though I vaguely knew about it. Doctors generally have to initially diagnose it clinically, which means based on their symptoms.
Okay.
And that's the soonest they're going to actually determine that it probably is inflammatory breast cancer. And then they do further testing to just verify it and then stage it. But what Lindsay was experiencing are typical symptoms and signs of inflammatory, and again, it can be misdiagnosed, which it is very frequently, unfortunately. But what Lindsay was experiencing was some swelling, redness, itching, which was painful to some extent, which got worse. Her doctors prescribed an antibiotic, thinking it was some sort of an infection, or sometimes breastfeeding mothers get mastitis.
Okay.
Obviously, she'd never had any children. She hadn't been breastfeeding, but it can present in that same way. So doctors aren't going to immediately jump to that conclusion, especially when it's somebody at 28 years old. And so they treated her with antibiotics for about 4 weeks, and there was no change, and it actually got worse. So again, she had the typical signs and symptoms of this disease. Then it was formally diagnosed through a biopsy. So you have to really do more diagnostic testing.
You can't just stop, you have to just keep further. Okay.
They have to definitely take some tissue, look at it, confirm that it is inflammatory breast cancer. Then they have to do further testing to determine the stage of it. And when you're diagnosed with inflammatory, you're automatically stage 3. If it has moved into the lymph nodes, then you're stage 4, or other parts of the body. So because it's so rare and it's so aggressive and it moves really fast, that is why they need to catch it as soon as possible. I think that the 2 or 4 weeks that it took for them to just say, no, it's not your ordinary infection, but it is inflammatory breast cancer, would not have necessarily made a difference in the length of her life. Unfortunately, she, with testing, was shown to be triple negative, which, if anybody knows about breast cancer, triple negative is probably the worst, because that means there are no hormone receptors that can be targeted with established therapies or treatments. So they're pretty much throwing everything at the wall, trying to get this under control, and being triple negative and already being at stage 3, quickly going to stage 4. She unfortunately passed away only 10 months after they made the diagnosis.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
So yeah, education, not only of women, fathers, brothers.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
you've
everybody.
got everybody in your family as a woman.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's something we try so hard to just get the word out about, and also to medical professionals, because unfortunately, a primary care physician maybe has never seen this before because it's so rare, and they're not going to catch it or diagnose it correctly initially. Which
I guess, let me ask you, not to cut you off, I mean, would you have any advice for, the women out there, anybody, that thinks something's wrong? I mean, push harder.
Yep.
I mean, is that...
That's exactly it.
I mean,
You have to get it checked if you notice any changes. Everybody talks about looking for lumps or feeling for lumps, getting your mammogram done. And not to dissuade anybody from getting a mammogram, because that's what I do in my work life, is I encourage people to get their mammograms on time. But unfortunately, this type of breast cancer isn't always detected on mammograms. Most times it's not.
Okay.
Simply because of the way that the cancer cells are right under the skin, and they're not clustering in a lump like a traditional breast cancer would. So it's not being seen on a mammogram, which is why the clinical diagnosis is important, and then the further diagnostic testing. But yes, watch for changes. That's my biggest message that I can't say enough.
Gotcha. And if you see something, push your doctor, push, hey, I want this done. You can request.
Especially if it's the textbook symptoms like I described, and they don't go away, it gets worse. Don't let them just say, oh, let's wait and see.
Yeah, no.
Because with this type, you don't want to wait.
You can't wait and see. You gotta attack it as quick as you possibly can.
Yeah. And if it's not that, great.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely be your own advocate and push to have further testing done. If I mean, most women have that gut feeling, and
that's kind of what
something's wrong.
I can't say but I would assume that, like I know my wife and her maternal instincts and stuff, and there's just some things you can tell, you just know something's not right.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what the symptoms are, I mean, most people, but push harder. If you think things aren't right, push harder, push harder. Don't take no for an answer.
Right.
So not when it comes to your health. So.
Nope.
Well, not to switch things up, but could you tell us a little bit about Lindsay's blog that she wrote during her treatment?
Yep, absolutely. When Lindsay was first diagnosed, of course, she came to the conclusion very quickly that, the rarity of this disease, and the fact that she wanted to make sure that other people knew about it. And we have friends and family all over the country, and they wanted updates on how she was doing.
Okay.
And then there were people who also wanted to help her financially as a single woman who owned a home.
Yep.
And she definitely needed some financial assistance. So what she did was set up a GoFundMe page that she wrote on quite frequently, and kept everybody updated about what was going on with her doctor visits, her oncology appointments, her treatments, and then her frustrations to some extent, but she always kept it positive. And she posted on there 82 times.
Holy cow.
Between the time she was diagnosed and until she couldn't post anymore. In the last couple posts, actually, I wrote, and then her brother wrote the last one. But it was a great way for her to keep everybody updated without having to spend her energy trying to keep people updated.
Oh yeah, especially if there's a bunch of people. That's a good way to get the message out there of this is going on. I would assume as she's battling this, some of her messaging was educational, like we're doing now.
Definitely. She was a great writer. She was an English major at the University of Iowa, and she loved to write, and she was very frustrated when it became difficult for her to do that. She wrote into her phone onto the website, and she wasn't really writing, but after a while she was having trouble with her vision and just her dexterity, but so she was able to keep that up as much as possible. But after her death, and it actually was a couple years afterwards, because it took me a while to get to the point but I knew that I needed to take what she had written and put it into something that family, friends, whoever would have forever. That was a document to her journey during this disease.
Okay.
And so I did that, and I self-published a book.
Really?
It's right here.
Okay, so that's okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I hadn't really focused on that, but
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all here.
oh my gosh,
I
that
actually,
is absolutely awesome.
yeah, I wrote around what she wrote. So I took all of her writings, and then
Okay.
I wrote from her mother / primary caregiver's point of view,
Okay.
and just added my 2 cents worth around every one of her entries. And so that culminated in a book, and which began my thought process to, what do we do with the royalties once the book starts selling, which didn't account for much, but it was some money that wasn't mine. I thought it needed to be used for some purpose. So in addition to the money we raise from our annual golf outing, which is what we're going to talk about more,
Yeah, we'll get there.
that's where that book royalties goes.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, it's for sale on Amazon, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Well,
called
hold it up.
Lindsay's
Yeah,
Legacy
show it
of
to
Mother's
everyone.
Memories.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. That is, I mean, what a cool way to be able to, help pass it along, and you have her version, your version,
Yeah.
and just.
I'm pretty
how you
sure
guys
your
both-
wife has read it.
I almost guarantee you she has. So I know she was very, very, very touched by this whole thing. Obviously, this was something I think the community as a whole struggled with. There was a lot of people. She is very well. I mean,
Yeah.
like you were saying, the golf tournament fills up in a matter of, like, you have to try and hold spots for anybody
Right.
that might, and there's not enough spots because that's
Yeah.
how much the community loved her and
Yep.
how much she gave back. Let me ask you this just a little bit more again, and I feel like the message with this truly just needs to be the educating people so that you can try to, I think you would have wanted this for her, as much education on it, but what resources are out there for those people getting the screenings, cancer
Yep.
screenings, diagnostic testing, and just treatment options? What would you promote to people as
Yeah.
probably best resources for them?
Well, there are lots, actually.
Okay, which is great. There
yeah.
should be for
Yeah,
this.
so for people who are facing financial challenges, most people have pretty good insurance, I would say. Well, maybe not most people, but the average person has decent insurance that's going to cover all your screening exams.
Okay.
Now, there could be some copay or out-of-pocket involved with your mammograms or your annual physicals. There are programs in every single state that specifically cover breast and cervical cancer early detection screening exams.
Okay.
And we have it in Iowa, we have it across the river in Illinois. You call your local health department, just ask about the breast and cervical cancer early detection program, and they'll give you resources on who to call locally to get free mammograms and pap smears, HPV testing, annual physicals. That resource is available, and it is income based. You don't have to show proof of anything. You don't even have to show proof of citizenship.
Okay.
So it's there in every single state in the U.S.
So it's out there. Utilize
It's out
it.
there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Just don't think the resources aren't there. Get out there, use them if you think something's wrong, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's okay.
And I happen to currently be the coordinator in our area, in the
Oh my
Quad
gosh.
Cities,
Really?
of this program. So reach out. Definitely reach out.
We were talking about all the resources stuff out there for people, so go ahead.
Yeah, for somebody that is being in the midst of being diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer and/or has been diagnosed and might need some help paying their medical bills,
Which would be a lot of
related-
people, I would assume. I mean, it's amazing how many people out there have, when you see it
Right.
with collections stuff, like you say this amount,
Yeah.
I see so much of it's always medical because it's tough, it's expensive.
With the funds that we have, that we've made our Lindsay's Legacy Fund out of, that's what that money is dedicated to, is helping
Okay.
any woman who is facing an inflammatory breast cancer diagnosis. So if they need help paying their medical bills, if they need some help paying to travel to an inflammatory breast cancer specialty clinic,
Okay.
which there are very few in the country, but there
Really?
are.
Like,
Yes,
is there less than 5?
there are
less than
5. There are definitely less than 5 significant dedicated
That's what they
IBC
do.
specialty.
Where.
That's where they see people every week that have inflammatory breast cancer, versus in the Quad Cities where they might see a patient once every few years. Oh yes, MD Anderson in Houston, Dana-Farber, Boston, Ohio State has a specialty clinic.
Okay.
So
So far, that's probably the closest to the Midwest you've said. I mean,
Right.
Houston and Boston.
Yes, there are some oncologists, I believe, that are familiar with the disease more than others at Northwestern, at the University of Iowa, at Mayo. But then they have the specialty clinics where they have the continuum of care and the teams together to actually work together to fight IBC, which is a specialty.
Gotcha.
So if a person chooses to do that, which Lindsay did not, by the way, she chose to stay in the Quad Cities and had a very good oncologist, very good team.
Okay. I was going to actually ask
Yeah.
which one maybe did she go to?
So
Or did
she
attend
saw,
one?
yeah, she saw Dr. Constantino,
Okay.
which is an amazing oncologist here in town. He did everything he could for her, and she felt that way, which is what mattered. I mean,
Yes.
she was a
Yep.
28-year-old woman.
Yep.
She can make her own decisions, and she felt she was getting the best care
Okay.
that she could. He was reaching out to those specialists and making sure that he was doing what he could for her. So that fund is available to any woman, again, that is being diagnosed with this disease. And we have a website, it's lindsayslegacyfund.com. And we have funds available that are there from the sales of that book I mentioned, also from more than anything from the golf outing that we hold every year.
We're going to talk about that here pretty soon too.
Yep. So lots of resources, and just reach out.
Ask for help.
Ask
Just
for
ask
help.
for it. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think most people are probably scared to. If you need help, you need help. Don't.
Yep.
Just take the help. So it's there for a reason.
Yeah. Since we established this Lindsay's Legacy Fund, and it's only been a few years, we have actually helped 16 women
Oh my gosh.
to the tune of $22,000.
Well, that's wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And
That is-
then, we've given over $77,000 to inflammatory breast cancer research.
oh my gosh, good for you guys. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's how you take a situation like this and find the positive if there ever was any of it. So,
Yeah.
going through something like this, how can friends and family best support someone who goes through this? You've been through it, you've been there. What would be your advice to someone, what to do, how to be there for people that may be, in the same situation you were once in?
There's lots of ways, I think, that you can help. As a family member, it's really hard, especially if your child or your loved one is an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and they can make their own decisions. And as a mother whose daughter was dealing with something like this at the age of 28, you're still their mother.
Yeah,
You still want to take care
That's
of
the
them.
maternal party that just kicks in. I mean, probably never goes away, But,
So I think you have to be supportive of their decisions, first of all.
Okay.
Be just there to support them if they need it. When you say, just call me if you need anything, just do something. Don't just say call me if you need anything, because chances are they're not going to. So make a meal, take a meal over.
Okay.
Go clean their house. I mean, these are things that they can't do as they're fighting something
Sure.
like this.
Yeah.
And the chemo is about killing them more than the cancer, but that chemo is what could potentially save their life in the long run. And
But the fight during chemo is, the side effects of chemo are just, I don't think a lot of people realize probably what that takes out of someone who is having that done. So
help them navigate the medical conundrum. I mean,
sure.
Get them connected, make sure that they know what their resources are. And most healthcare facilities have navigators that do that. That's their job, especially in the world of oncology. at the health system where I work, they have oncology nurse navigators.
Okay.
And every single patient who's diagnosed is assigned to one of the navigators that helps them with their resources and, billing issues and just everything that you could need. Make sure you're tapping into those resources.
Okay.
And if you're the loved one, the family member, the friend, you can actually help by tapping into those resources for them, and just really be there. Don't just say, call me.
Yeah.
Just,
there.
really be there and
Be
just
present.
check on them all the time. And sometimes they don't want to be bothered, or they don't feel up to having company, and just respect that, because they're
Nothing
going
towards
through
you,
that.
it's just, so.
They're going through that process, and sometimes that they just need that time alone.
How would you say people in the public, how can they just get engaged and help? We've talked about awareness. I feel like in my mind that's the biggest thing, but any other suggestions that...
Money.
Money.
There's also always a need for money for research, for funding for the programs. The program I oversee, it's the Center for Breast Health Fund at Genesis. Trinity and Unity Point have their own fund available for patients. So it's through their foundation offices. If you want to make a donation to help women get their screening exams, that's a route to take. Otherwise, with Lindsay's Legacy Fund and our golf outing, even though our golf outing is full and is always full right away, and even if you're not a golfer, there are other ways you can support directly, just making a donation to the fund or coming out to the party after the event.
Sure. That's
there's
right, you guys.
Yeah, we've got music, we've got food. We're gonna have Wolf It Down pizza. They have a wood fire grill they take around, and a silent auction. So there's lots of different ways you can donate to the silent auction or come and bid on the silent auction items.
I will tell you that Wolf It Down pizza.
Yeah.
We were at one of the deals the other night in Bettendorf, Oak Grove Tavern, I think.
Yeah. They're the ones.
They were there. The ladies were there.
Yeah.
My wife and I, she made her a barbecue something or other. It was delicious.
It might have been the Wolf It Down.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Melissa ordered it. I just went up and got it for her, but it was delicious.
So the two ladies who started this just both retired, and they were friends of Lindsay's.
Okay.
So these girls were friends of my daughters, Betsy and Gina Wolf, and they just in their retirement now have started this company.
Good for them.
Yes, and they've been going gangbusters, and they are going to be present at our after party after the golf event on September 27th. So
all right,
we're excited about that.
So so donations, and people say donations. I will tell you, like a lot of jobs, any of my previous jobs, I've always donate, and they let you, most places let me pick where I wanted to. So in knowing you have that option, and some people just check a box to, I'll give it to this, but if this is something that touches you in your heart, get with your employer and say, hey, out of my charitable donation, I want to go to this fund. There's ways to do that to make sure it's going to a cause that maybe you feel touched or more engaged with. So
with our golf outing, not only individuals but corporations, businesses like Kunes, Nissan of Davenport is now a sponsor this year, which we really appreciate at $1,000.
We will definitely try to make sure. The Kunes organization, they are very, I will tell you,
philanthropic.
My favorite word, philanthropic. I can't say it, but that's just what the Kunes organization is about. They are very much about giving back. You may get on the website and see the Kunes Cares and what they're about, but it's a good. Stuff like this really matters to them, and they always try to find things. This is not my first car combo. I've only been here 4 months because we like to find things to donate to. So, businesses, everybody needs to just get involved. It's a good cause.
Any amount really. Starting at $100, you can sponsor a whole.
Really?
Yeah. So we've got whole sponsors up and down all 18 greens and teas and everything. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
great. It's
That's
great to
great.
see all that support out there. And
Do you guys do like a specialized golf cart or anything where you can buy sponsorship on there? Or?
we have had a cart sponsor in the past.
Okay.
Where we've had the business on there, and we haven't confirmed one yet this year,
Okay.
but I'm sure we'll have one again this year. And
Well, hey, I mean, it's not only, like I said, really the idea behind it is to support this and do this, but if you're a business owner and you're trying to show your support, I mean, I know when I'm buying from a local business, those are things I look for. You know, what organizations do you support? What are you into? So that's important.
yeah,
Car's beeping at us, doesn't like us. These things, these self-driving cars these days, they keep you in their lane. So,
okay.
This
That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, it's got the ProPilot 2.0, so it's the latest version of, lane intervention to keep you going. So just make sure that we don't have any unexpected incidences. I guess, you know what, in talking about it, what can you expand on this golf outing and where's it at?
Yeah.
How did that start?
Yeah.
Just tell me more about this golf outing, because I know it's a huge thing here in the Quad Cities. Every year it fills up quick.
So Lindsay passed away on February 1st of 2017.
Okay.
And my son Nick and I started this golf outing. We pretty much do all the legwork every year, and we held the first one in September of 2017. So this will be the 8th year that we're holding the event.
Crazy.
And it's held every year out at Scott County Park at Glenn's Creek Golf Course.
Okay.
Beautiful
course.
course. The golf pro and his staff out there are great. They do all the footwork and the leg work out there for the golf outing.
Yes. So we were talking about the golf outing.
Yep, Glenn's Creek, September 27th, which is the last Friday in September. And then the after party starts about 4 o'clock at the Ridge on Utica Ridge in Davenport.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
We're
That's a
outside
nice
usually on the
place.
patio.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Again, Wolf It Down Pizza with their wood fire grill will be there.
Sounds
And
amazing. I know. Well,
Yeah.
I'm depending on 4 kids at home. There's always a lot going on, but it sounds like something we might have to make some time for sure.
Yeah,
Wifey
you
and
could
I.
stop over
Yeah. Oh,
after
yeah,
work
definitely.
and
put them. Maybe we'll make them do a hard day of swimming that day, and they'll be tired, which never seems to happen. Their summer schedules. So.
yeah. And then we'll have the big Kunes banner up and
Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate any recognition, but again, for us, it's more about what we can do for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I guess the last question I asked you, because Lindsay's legacy is so much more than the cancer she battled. What would you like people to remember Lindsay by? What is something that you feel she left? What's her legacy?
Yeah.
What did she leave behind?
well, she was such a good friend to so many people, and the amount of support that she got during her battle and the number of people whose lives she touched is just a testament to the good friend and the good person that she was, and even strangers that never met her, that maybe followed her story.
Okay. She touched a lot of people.
Yeah,
She had an impact,
she did. And she had the best laugh, and she was so funny and fun, and we all just really miss her.
Yeah. You have those memories and the people that she touched, and I guess some people, as you get older, and what do you leave behind, and for most, it's what that legacy is. So that's awesome that she's touched so many people. I know if I ever get to that point, or when I get to that point, hopefully I've touched some hearts and done some things like that. That's all I could ever ask for. So that's awesome that she's had that positive impact.
Well, and I think we're lucky that she shared her journey with everybody, and that we have that keepsake of her.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think through our fundraising and through her story, we're raising money to help others, and that's truly her legacy.
The awareness, that's the thing, the awareness of it, stuff like that. So how can you impact others? So, well, Diane, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit to drive with us today, and just try to have more impact and keep that impact she's had, to keep pushing it forward. So
Yeah.
that's all you can do. So,
Yeah, I've got to keep going for her.
just do for her. Yep. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, and that's what she wants you doing. So we appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I
Kunes,
appreciate it.
you know, you have the Kunes full support, and for everyone out there, you know, anything you can do, go get yourself checked out. Make sure you're pushing hard. To, one doctor tells you no, keep pushing forward. That you want a second opinion. So I think a lot of people get complacent and just status quo, and can't be that way. So no's not the answers.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
We'll definitely see you September 27th, you said?
September 27th.
That sounds like the day, then. We will see
Yeah.
you then. So, thanks everyone for joining us today. We appreciate all you listeners out there. Take care and have a great week.